Hello viewers. Today we are going to discuss about the organizational factors, the role of ethical culture and relationships in business ethics and corporate social responsibility. This is Beauty Akhtar, Faculty Department of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Daffodil International University. First of all, what is the role of corporate culture in ethical decision making? Before going to that, we need to understand what is corporate culture. Corporate culture is a set of values, norms, and ways of solving problems. And it gives members organization a meaning and provides them with the rule of behaving with the organization. A company's history and unwritten rules that are part of its culture. And most of the time, the culture can be influenced by the founder's values. Corporate culture. These explicit statements of values, beliefs, and custom most of the time comes from upper management in the form of memos, codes, handbooks, manuals, forms, or ceremonies. And it can be expressed informally through direct and indirect comments that convey management wishes. Sometimes it can be like discourse, it can be like promotions, it can be like extracurriculum activities. Most of the time in the small and big companies, we can see that most of the time the corporate culture varies from companies to companies because of this kind of rules. There are two basic dimensions that determine an organizational culture. First one, we can see that the concern for people. The second one, we can see that concern for performance. Concern for people determines that organizational efforts to care for its employees' well-being. There are some companies, those who show or display their employees' well-being. And there are some other companies, on the other hand, they show their performance, employees' performance, other hand. So there are two basic dimensions. And in a company, there are four different cultures that might be emerged. First one is apathetic. Second one is caring. Third one is exacting. And fourth one is integrative. What is apathetic? First of all, apathetic shows the minimal concern for the people or the performance. Actually, apathetic culture does not even care for the people or for the performance. So both of these things are very much undetermined here. But on the other hand, caring exhibits high concern for the people, but the minimal concern for the performance. Here, they actually show that what would be the well-being for the people. It doesn't matter what is the performance. Most of the time, we can see that in our country, the government organization, most of the time actually they show concern for the people and they have minimum concern for the performance. But what most of the companies actually show, they actually show the exacting culture. Exacting culture shows the concern for the people, less concern for the people, as well as a high concern for the performance. That means actually they show you have to do work, employees have to do work, and they actually do not give any kind of incentives or allowance or some kind of things to their employees. So most of the time in private sectors we actually find this kind of cultures, but in the big companies like Google, Apple, Samsung, we do not find this kind of exacting culture. We find the integrative culture. Integrative culture actually show the high concern for people and the performance. Both the performance are related with the people. In Google, what we find that they actually giving the opportunity for their employees to show their creativity, show their innovativeness, and because of that showing creativity, they are actually getting promoted, or they are actually getting their exact payment or salaries, some kind of things. So that is called integrative culture. And we should actually focus on that integrative culture rather than just exacting culture. But nowadays most of the companies in the world are nowadays actually showing their exacting culture. So there are 4 different kind of culture that can be immersed in an organization. Thank you. So the framework of organizational culture typologies goes like this way. The horizontal axis shows the concern for performance, and the vertical axis shows the concern for people. When there is a low concern for the performance and the low concern for people, it is apathetic culture. When there is a low concern for the performance but the high concern for the people, that is caring culture. When there is a high concern for the performance but the low concern for the people, that is exacting culture. And the last one is the high concern for the performance and high concern for the people, it is integrative culture. So these are the 4 typologies. Thank you all for being with me.